Welcome to PT Topic. My name is Patrick Liu, student physical therapist, and the topic for today is 5 essay hacks that you need to know. Now, before we get started, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, click that notification bell, and comment down below because I would love to hear your thoughts throughout this video. Now, let's get started with the why of this video. Personally, I struggle with writing essays, especially with the brainstorming process, revising my paper to understand, okay, what does the professor want out of this paper, or what's everyone trying to look for from this paper, or how can I articulate what's in here onto this paper in such a finite amount of time? Gosh, it's so stressful. Thank goodness I don't have to take the GRE or other sorts of generalized standardized tests for a while, right? Because of this, I want to help others who share the same pain that I do, where writing is mundane, hard, stressful, something to procrastinate on, have a way to write their essays faster, more eloquently, and the process is more easier. Now, I'm not going to guarantee that these 5 hacks are going to help you enjoy writing essays, because personally for me, I still have negative feelings per se. Well, let's say more of a critique of writing essays, and it's not something that I'd like to do on my off time. So, if you are someone who needs to write a lot of essays and journal, such as a student getting into physical therapy school, PT-CAS application, gotta love it, or another type of graduate level program, or even a student trying to apply for scholarships. Hopefully, these tips will help improve your essay writing talents and capabilities. Tip number 1, break up writing your essay into smaller chunks. For example, let's say you have a 10-page paper or essay that's due in 4 weeks. Instead of procrastinating, try and split up or break up this paper into smaller chunks, like completing 3 pages every single week, and then try to take it to a peer to review it or a professor to review it. Whoever your resources are, reach out to them to get it refined and made through. For those visual learners out there, here is a calendar demonstration of breaking things up. Let's say we have the paper that's due in a few weeks, so we will mark this like so. It gives us 4 weeks. So what we can do is maybe we could spend this weekend, I want to spend about 1 to 2 hours of brainstorming. And then after you get that done, for this first week, make it a goal to complete 3.5 pages. And then this next week, another 3.5 pages. And then try to complete the last pages in this time. So that's 7, so you just need 3 more pages, and then take it in for review, and then submit your paper at this time. That way then it gives you plenty of time to think about, all right, how can I structure my essay? Maybe you could start off with doing the introductions first, finding your resources and references to understand what you want to articulate and write, and then formulate your paragraphs based off of that until you have your pages. Tip number 2, ask yourself open-ended questions. They could be as simple as, what do I want to convey to my audience? Precisely what do I want to articulate in this paper? Having those types of questions and putting them out there, it'll help your brain think about, how can I answer this question? And suddenly your brain juices start to flow, and then it helps with that brainstorming process. Or if you're past that brainstorming process, it'll help you essentially figure out what to refine in your paper as you revise it. Now, Jim Quick, the celebrity memory coach, really emphasizes having the intention and really wanting to ask those clear questions, because the more clear your questions are and the more precise they are, the more likely they're going to get answered. Tip number 3, just write. Don't listen to your inner critique, and save that inner critique for the revision phase. During the brainstorming phase and the rough draft phase, the intent is just to put all of your ideas out there, structuring an outline and a skeleton of what you want to convey and present to your audience. And the revision phase as well as the production phase are completely different stages. Now, I'm borrowing this idea from Dr. Jordan Peterson and one of the interviews that he had for how to improve your paper. I'll source the article that I retrieved this from into the description down below, and hopefully you can also look into his other tips. And essentially, it just helps having the different stages actually work in their respective stages. So brainstorming and producing your ideas and getting that on the paper, that's the main idea. And then the revision phase, where the intention is to condense the items and rearrange your ideas and leave it for that stage. Now, in this article, here's where I'm getting my idea. One of the hardest pieces of advice to convey to new writers is to just write. If you struggle like I do, where every time you write something down, your inner critique says, this looks stupid or this doesn't make sense, you just try and revise every single thing along the way. That just halts your production process, thus causing you to spend a lot more time trying to write it. And it's better to take a step back, recollect your thoughts, and just allow your production phase to produce your work and put your rough draft out there and then revise it later. As Jordan Peterson said for this quote, production, the first major step, and editing, the second, are different functions and should be treated that way. That is because each interferes with each other. The purpose of production is to produce. The function of editing is to reduce and arrange. Tip number 4, utilize a paper revision program or app and get help from others. Now, with the apps that I recommend, Grammarly is a major one. Now, I'm not sponsored for them, just as a full disclosure, but I really like their services. They offer a free service where it looks for the major grammatical errors, such as spelling errors, maybe utilizing 2 spaces, incorrect formatting for sentence structure, and they point those out and provide recommendations of what you can do to try and fix them. If you wanted to try and get the premium version or their services, you will have to pay a subscription for that, and they could actually look for more of the finer details that the free version may not look at. Now, seeking help early, this could include scheduling meetings with your professor, potentially to help with either the brainstorming phase, or if you've completed your first draft or first few drafts, potentially sending them to your professor or meeting with them so that you could go over the paper together to see what you all can improve with that. Now, it doesn't have to be your professor. If this is not for an academic class, you could potentially reach out to your friends, your peers. Really, anyone who you trust will give you that feedback instead of saying, oh, this paper is good. Because we all know how helpful when someone says this paper is good and you receive your paper and bam, it's like a C, barely passing grade. And that sometimes is not what you're looking for. So make sure you find the friends who's going to give you that hard truth. Tip number 5, reward yourself. Take quality breaks and avoid distractions. Now, we all understand the process of doing something that you don't want to do. You just procrastinate it and instead you do something else to fill up that time. However, if you tie a reward towards the end of every session that you have of writing the paper, or if you tie a larger reward at the end of completing your entire paper and essay, that could potentially help you beat out that procrastination. And then for the taking quality breaks instead of distractions, it could be as simple as utilizing the Pomodoro technique. If you don't quite know what the Pomodoro technique, I'll explain it briefly, and I'll put something in the description below for you to access a resource like that. The Pomodoro technique is a study technique as well as a way for you to take frequent breaks, improve your productivity, and essentially make the most out of your time without feeling drained. And with that, it's essentially taken about 25 to 30 minutes of whatever your designated activity is, taking a 5-minute break, where this break involves like going to the bathroom or stretching for a little bit, walking around, petting a dog or your cat or whichever pet that you have. And the main thing about it is try not to get on your phone or get distracted by having this super long conversation with someone else. Now, what we have is the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, which I learned from some speakers back in my time at Weber State University, where the conscious mind, you have like a certain type of battery for that, and when that battery is all drained, it's important to take a break to recharge that battery from the conscious mind. So this could be writing your paper, putting your rough draft in, or making those revisions. And then once that battery is burnt out, then it's time to recharge it by essentially not doing anything of writing that paper for a little bit, so that 5-minute break, to allow it to recharge and reset. Now for your subconscious mind, being able to do something else that doesn't require a lot of thinking, it just allows the conscious mind to send it to the subconscious mind, and you're still thinking about, okay, how can I improve this paper? What can I do to make it better, refine it, etc., etc. So the open-ended questions that you asked during each session or before you even started this paper or throughout the paper. And with that, it's able to identify, okay, I could try and do these things, or I could try and add this new topic from this reference. It just helps you present more of your ideas. But if you decide to go on your phone, what happens is your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is being preoccupied by, oh, what's my, how's my Instagram looking? Oh, that person has a super cute dog or pet or puppy, and then it just fills your mind and goes off into this other tangent of now you're thinking about pets and puppies and dog food and all those sorts of things. So it just causes an unnecessary distraction that burns you out even more, thus causing this cycle of feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, and techno stress is a term that some people may use to describe that. So with that, taking those frequent breaks, whether it's a brief walks, stretching, breathing exercise, getting some water, that will help recharge your batteries for the shorter run. And then for the longer run, if you want to maybe say, I'm going to go out to have some food with some friends, or I'm going to go skiing, or whatever turns your gear, as a bigger reward at the end, that just allows you to refuel, recharge, and basically have that carrot at the end of the stick that you can follow and chase. And once you achieve your goal, you could grab that carrot and have a good time eating it. And of course, if you don't like carrots or are allergic to carrots, it could be something else that you enjoy. All right, that concludes my 5 hacks to upgrade your essays. For those who are going to be applying for physical therapy schools, med schools, or other types of professional programs, I wish you good luck. And if you do have any questions about that process, feel free to send me an email, message me, comment down below, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have and such. And if need be, we could always schedule a meeting. Just let me know in advance and we could work out some times. I know I will be busy getting started with physical therapy school, of course, but I will do my best to help you all out. And if you haven't already, please, again, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already, click that notification bell, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this video, any recommendations of what you enjoyed from this video or things that I can improve on. Any help really helps me out. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.